Welcome back to the Morning Blend. If you need a lawyer, the toughest part isn't picking up the phone. It's knowing if someone is the right fit to help you. Joining us now is Al Spiegel from McLario firm with 5 questions to ask. Good morning to you, Al.
Good morning, Molly. How are you?
I'm good. It's great to see you. I think a lot of people wonder when they visit a law firm, that especially that first meeting with a lawyer, do you pay for that initial consultation?
Yeah, and that's a great question that you should be asking when you're scheduling that initial consultation, because sometimes it depends on the kind of consultation you're having. Someone who does work like me, where I'm doing a lot of estate planning and things like that, you're going to have a free consultation as part of that process. But definitely ask up front. You don't want to get surprised by a bill. And believe it or not, most lawyers, we don't like to surprise people with bills either, because that just leads to unhappy clients.
Yeah, I get that. That makes sense. I think the other thing that people wonder, and this is your second question that you say is good to ask of the top 5, will the person I meet with in that initial consultation, if my matter is going to be handled, will that be the same person that I initially meet with?
Right. And that's another great question that you should be asking when you're scheduling the appointment, because a lot of times, people see lawyers on something like this or on a TV commercial, and then they'll go in and they won't be meeting with that lawyer. They'll be meeting with someone else. And then the person who's actually handling their file is a third person. So you want to understand. I know one of the blessings I get at my office is when people come in and say, "Hey, you're the same guy from the Morning Blend." It's like they're surprised. Yeah, of course I am. I'm a real life lawyer and I help people with stuff. So yeah, see who you're going to be meeting with and if that person's actually going to be doing the work on your case.
One of the things that we know from talking to you is that attorneys obviously have different areas that they specialize in. So how do you know the practice area? Do you need to ask that up front when you make that first consultation appointment?
I think it's a good thing to ask, and I think it's a good thing to do a little research on your own. Go to their website, see what kind of areas they market themselves as being a specialist in, so that you're talking to someone who's in the right area. If you're talking to someone who's not in the right area, either you're going to get someone who doesn't do a lot of that work, or you're going to get someone who's ultimately going to hand you off to someone else. So you want to be prepared for that.
Definitely. Question number 4 of the top 5. What do I need to have prepared for that first meeting?
Right. And this is a big one. And it's a one that's, again, going to help the lawyer and the client to make sure that this first meeting is productive. A lot of times, I've had people, it kind of blows my mind, show up for their will meeting or their trust meeting. And I'll say to them, "So what are you thinking you want to do with your estate?" And they'll say, "Well, we don't really know. What are your recommendations?" "Well, I don't know. Who do you want to give your money to? What do you want to have happen?" So think through some of those basic things. If nothing else, think through what your goals are with your representation from that lawyer. You want them to help you do a certain thing, at least be able to spell out what that thing is before you walk in the door.
Question number 5. What are the next steps after that first meeting?
Right. What happens here? Do we have to make a payment arrangement? Is there going to be a second meeting? Are we going to collect some information? Do you have to go home and do some homework? What happens from here? Do we just leave everything on the lawyer's desk and the lawyer takes it from here? Some areas of law, it kind of works like that, at least initially, but you want to understand. We certainly don't want a situation where a new client hires us and then says, "Well, I didn't hear anything from you. I didn't know what was happening." Now, different people have a different idea of that. I have clients who will call me 4 hours later and say, "I haven't heard anything from you." Well, yeah, takes a little while to get things moving, but it shouldn't be 2 weeks. You should at least know what's happening if you're not hearing from us.
That's a great point. The other thing I wonder, Al, is if someone comes in and they meet with you, let's say, if it's something that you think maybe one of your partners could handle, or just something really outside of your area of expertise or your area just in general, will you often refer people and say, "I'd love to work with you, but I think that your case would be better handled with another person"?
Absolutely. And I think that's a mark of a good lawyer, is when you know to stay in your lane. There are certain areas of law that aren't your specialty. I get contacted by people sometimes who say, "Well, I've heard of you. I want to work with you and I have this criminal matter." And the best thing I can do for those people is say, "I don't do anything with criminal law. You don't want me representing you in your DUI case because I wouldn't do a good job. That's not what I do for a living." So yeah, absolutely. We refer them. Sometimes it's within the firm, and other times it's people that I know from, local attorneys that I've worked with that I know are good and I know work in those areas. So definitely, if you're contacting a lawyer, maybe what that's going to result in is them sending you to someone who's better suited for your needs, and that's not a bad thing.
Yeah, see, I appreciate that. I think it's very responsible, and I'm not surprised that that's what you said, Al. Thank you so much for your time today.
Yeah, nice talking to you, Molly. Have a great day.
Yeah, you too. Nice talking to you also. And to schedule a free virtual or in-person consultation, go to McLario.com. You can also learn more about their firm by checking out their video playlist on YouTube. Just go to YouTube and search for the McLario Firm.